BD Prof, welcome to this new week. I want to do a weekly forecast for this week. And before I do the weekly forecast, the CPI news on Friday was amazing. It did so many positive things that we were waiting for the market to do because of that consolidation and the ranging that we've experienced for the past 3 weeks. So allow me just to do the technical analysis, and then we'll share the possibilities for this week. So we start with gold. Let me start with the DXY. And then from DXY, we now go to the rest of the dollars. Now, I wanted a DXY which we've not yet marked. Oh, let's see this. So we start our weekly analysis from the weekly time frame. First of all, we start by reading the candlesticks and the behavior of the candlesticks. Looking at these nested candlesticks, there are so many things that you can read from this point. And you can just give an anticipated price action and price direction for this week. So what you can see that there was a sweep liquidity in this point, and even at this point also there was a major sweep of liquidity, and now price started expanding upwards. What you notice is that there was a candle closing above this candle, which now gave us an anticipation for this week, which we were bearish, we were supposed to be bullish. Then the next week followed up by giving us a bullish price action, which now was already opening up the price for us to target this level. But looking at the last week, we just had an inside candle. That means we didn't have any expansion or price breaking either side of the previous weekly high or low. Then, as the same as what happened this week, we also have a candle close. So this candle close is actually an indecision candle, because at this point you're actually 50-50. You don't know if we are going to be bullish or bearish. So before we come up with an anticipation for this week, we'll switch to daily to see if we are to continue higher. Are there PDRAs that will support this price to move higher? So when I go to daily, this is where now the price begins to open up, and I see something here. I see we had a fair value gap forming at the course of the week, a daily fair value gap. And when you see where was Monday, this was Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So we had a fair value gap within this point. And during the CPI, we got this fair value gap mitigated, and it's like the price mitigated the fair value gap and went back all the way. So number one, these are the levels that I'll be watching this week. This daily level will be our activation point. What do I mean by activation point? If we are to continue higher to come to this weekly level that we forecasted, then I am anticipating something like this, that price will break through this daily level. And if I see this break on a 4-hour candle, then now I will anticipate that price will expand all the way there. On the flip side of this is this point. If price disrespects this fair value gap, this daily fair value gap, and decides now we are going bearish, then the weekly level that I'll be looking to trade to will be this level. So if our price will decide we are disrespecting this fair value gap, we are closing below this daily swing point, and now I'll be targeting price to go all the way down to this point. So now this is the forecast for the DXY for this week, but I'm high probability on bullish move. Why? Because already this fair value gap has mitigated. I'm seeing that if price is going to respect the price action that was caused by DXY on Friday, then I'm seeing more bullish price action on DXY this week. So if, for example, I'm using if because we are reacting on what price is going to do. If, for example, price will decide to do the opposite, will sell. But if price is going to respect these PDRAs and hold and push for higher prices, then now for every rise of DXY, we see the opposite now happening. For example, in the Euro USD and GBP USD, we are anticipating bearish price action. GU, EU, NZD, USD, AUD USD. And then for USD, CHF, and USD, JPY, we'll be anticipating bullish price action. So allow me just to sample at least two. I'll sample Euro USD. So for Euro USD, we do, let me use Oanda, yes. So for Euro USD, let me clear this chart quickly. This is the weekly time frame. One thing you'll notice about Euro USD, it's similar to what was happening to EXY. There's this consolidation of price, and then there's this sweep that we had already noticed, the sweep of liquidity here. And then now it seems like if price is going to expand downwards or bearish, then we are anticipating that this will be our drawn liquidity. Now the low hanging fruits targets will be the previous weekly low as our target. Now at this point, there are two things that will show you that we are heavily bearish. Number one, when you look at the last week candle, we closed below the previous weekly. We closed actually below with the candle body close. So two things here. You see the close below, and also you notice that the week which was last week, we were expecting more bearish price action, and we just did have a candle close within the body of the previous one. Same to last week. But when you go to last week, you will notice that we had a daily fair value gap, which was actually mitigated during the CPI news. Now, there is something about these fair value gaps. The fair value gaps that form within that price leg. What do I mean by that? If a fair value gaps form between Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, that fair value gap, to me, I consider it more stronger than a fair value gap that forms in between 2 weeks. What do I mean by 2 weeks? There are weeks like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we didn't have any fair value gap. But we had an expansion on Friday. Then coming to Monday of the next week, we opened with a fair value gap. So this fair value gap is actually in between 2 weeks, not within the price leg of a specific week. So looking at this, when you see Monday, and then Tuesday expansion, Wednesday consolidation, and then forming this fair value gap, and then Friday we retrace back to the fair value gap, there is high possibility that this fair value gap is going to hold price. There is high probability. Remember, I'm not saying it must hold. I'm saying there's high probability that price will hold. So if everything goes as anticipated, then I'm anticipating that the price is going to respect this point, and then we'll have our activation level on the previous daily low, which is this point. And so this is what I'll be looking forward to. That 4 hour candle closes below the previous daily low, then I will be having this as my first target, and then I might be holding this price expansion all the way to this weekly low. Lastly, let me do, was it NZD? Yes, NZD USD, which is